How's it going, everybody? This is your Astrology Horoscope for Wednesday, January 31st, 2024. I'm astrologer Alex Skyles, and welcome to the Moonbase. Hope you guys are having a wonderful week. Thank you all so much for being here. I really appreciate it. And like this video, subscribe to the channel if you're new. My reading sale is still going on, so click the link in the description of this video to go to my website. And all the links to all the platforms that I am on are in the description of this video. So I would love to see you all there. This moon that jumped into Libra yesterday, it trined Pluto for the first time. It's the first time the moon is trining Pluto yesterday. And it squared Venus right after that. So it just is really starting to kick off a lot of the relationship stuff that is really coming to the forefront here with Chiron North Node, Libra South Node. That's really the focus of the next few days here. And even when the moon goes to Scorpio, it'll square Pluto for the first time. And we'll get there here in the next day or so. But just this block of time here before the moon really goes into Sagittarius, it's like there's so much relationship stuff coming up. And definitely with the moon opposing Chiron, right before the moon conjuncts the South Node, it's like there can definitely be some very intense stuff coming up from the past. A lot of issues that are unresolved and a lot of wounds from the past that have just been unresolved and just seem to perpetuate a cycle here that hasn't been broken in this karmic loop with these nodes here. It's like, it's so, repetitive. It can get really repetitive within the kind of karmic stuff and relationships that we're dealing with right now. And it can seem like it's just, when's the cycle going to end here? And we are working towards that. We are on our way towards that cycle ending when Chiron does conjunct the North Node and get past that. And, but this is really coming to the forefront. And with the moon conjunct the South Node, squaring Venus yesterday, and then it's going to square Mars later throughout the day, and then it will square Mercury right after that. It's like today's the day where it's like, no matter what's going on in the world, no matter what's going on at work, no matter what's going on in your social media, wherever you're connected and you have important relationships with other people, like things are really starting to pop up. And it's karmic, and it's definitely a lot of things that are unresolved from the past. And it can be quite painful, a lot of the stuff that's coming up here. There's so much positive and good coming into our lives finally, but at the same time, it's like we can't really embrace it all until we really face the reality of where we haven't really passed things over and haven't healed things, because that's what's really holding us back from moving forward. Even though all planets are direct, it's like we want to really face these things head on now and be able to communicate in a positive way about it, and not get caught up in it being overly dramatic or arguing about things, with Mars and Mercury. I mean, it can get very aggressive with Mars and Mercury together, especially in the words that you say. You got to be very careful with the words that you say. With the moon in Libra, it's like you want to be more calm and collected and as logical as possible, and we are in a time, we're not in a time of a lot of mutable planets, like a lot of the personal planets are not in mutable signs. They're in earth signs and they're in air signs. So this is much more rational, logical energy. Neptune and Saturn are in Pisces, but I mean, all the personal planets are in a pretty grounded place and a very thoughtful place as well. So, if things do get tense, when things do get tense, and whatever kind of friendships or relationships or whatever, I mean, when it does, try to find the best rational solutions as possible, and really keep in mind what the real goal is and not the small things, but it is the small things that add up. And that's the thing about moon opposing Chiron. It's a long period of time of little things piling up that haven't been faced or dealt with can really come with a price. And karmically, that is playing out now, starting really now, because the Chiron and the North Node are really getting close together here. So, Venus and Capricorn, which squared the moon yesterday, is dispositing the South Node in the moon. So it's like, where are you trying to control things too much in relationships? Where are you losing sight of the purpose? Where are you losing sight of the destiny within a relationship or a friendship or a group? I mean, there's so much passion. Like, there's a lot of passion in the air right now with Mars and its exaltation with Mercury. So we want to be passionate in our relationships, and we want to also have healthy connections and healthy intimacy in our lives. But when there's so many wounds to our egos and things that haven't been faced yet, it's hard to find a comfortable place to be intimate right now. I mean, it's not the most soft energy. It's very powerful, it's potent, it's fast, and we're really building things and getting things done. But also have a lot of personal things to deal with. And that's what the deal is with Mercury and Mars in Capricorn and Venus and the Sun and Pluto in Aquarius and these outer planets in the last 3 signs of Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. This is like, we're focusing on the bigger things in life. We're focusing on massive goals. We're focusing on our higher spiritual purpose here and really connecting in a broader way and connecting with people on a broader level. But underneath that, there's still personal things that got to be dealt with and got to be handled, and faced in a healthy, diplomatic way here. The moon in Libra, like making these squares, it's like, as much as we want to keep focusing on the bigger picture, like the next few days, we really got to kind of zoom in a little bit, because we've been pretty zoomed out since the first of the year and zoomed out on the bigger picture, focusing on our goals, in a very big way and in a way that we haven't experienced in 8 months, really, since Venus started going retrograde last year in June. So, things are really moving forward in a very positive, powerful way. And then at the same time, when all this happens later throughout the day, the moon, it'll cross the South Node 17 degrees. And then when the moon gets to 19 degrees in the afternoon, the moon's going to make a, in conjunction, a quincunx, whatever you want to call it. I use both terms sometimes without even thinking, but it's going to make a quincunx. The moon will make a quincunx over to Uranus. So it's like, where are the things that just are not working out, that just don't align, that just it's just a bad match. If the match is not happening, because there are so many really effortless connections being made now that are just seem to be like very destined and fated here with all these outer planets in the last 3 signs. That's where destiny, fate, purpose really, and our connection to source, really shine brightly, and with the sun there, even in its detriment, that's where we are shining, is our higher purpose and in the higher realms and the higher frequencies of things. With this moon, conjuncting or making an inconjunct to Uranus, it's like we got to assess where the things aren't working out as much, where it's just a bad connection, right? With the moon in Libra, Uranus ruling just how we connect and how our neural pathways connect, how we connect with other people. And, we might just decide today to take a radical shift and accept things in a much more radical way. It's just the same stuff keeps playing out. So you just finally just make a decision to just bolt onto a new path. And that's what the moon is really calling here with this quincunx to Uranus. It's don't even think about it. Just do what feels right in the moment to make a big change, make a radical shift in your life, and that's where the healing in the relationships can really start to happen. But then again, it's we're going through this over the next few weeks as Chiron and the North Node come together. And in the meantime, all the wonderful things with the outer planets and the bigger things, and especially with Jupiter and Taurus. Jupiter and Taurus is kind of by itself, like, hey, like I'm bringing in big, amazing things right now, but I'm kind of alone right now. So it did get a lot of love over the past few weeks, but now it's like, okay, the focus is where can the healing begin? And the things that are going to pop up is kind of like a culmination of like a long-standing string of repetition of the same cycles playing out, where it's hitting a peak moment, a tipping point, where it's finally that moment where it's like, okay, this is where you really face it head on. You find a new way, and sometimes you have to make radical moves and, maybe sever a connection to form a new connection. When a star dies, a new one's born. It's like, Mars and Pluto are on their way together. So there's definitely a lot of, Mars is on its way to conjunct Pluto. So like there is this metamorphosis that we're ramping up to. Like when Mercury, Mars, and Venus conjunct Pluto and past Pluto, it's like we're going to feel alchemized in a very intense way. And we haven't felt this yet. Like when we had Pluto in Aquarius last year, we didn't have this. We didn't have Pluto move into Aquarius and Venus and Mars and Mercury conjunct Pluto right after that, right? They're on Venus, Mars, and Pluto are on the other side of the zodiac. So, or at least Mars was. Mars was in Gemini, retrograde. That was rough. This is a very transformational buildup here, because as Chiron in the North Node conjunct, Venus, Mars, and Mercury will conjunct Pluto, and it will trigger this massive metamorphosis and this transformation in a deep way. And the energy can be kind of like you got to harness it very confidently with Mars and Pluto. Like you want to be able to like have the strength to harness that energy and utilize it, because it can get a little out of control. If you can't, it's like riding a horse. Like you got to have full reign and full control of that horse. Or if you don't, like you'll go flying. That's kind of Mars, Pluto. Like it's the most powerful, intense surge of energy we've felt in a long time. So we're building towards that. And as that's going to happen, all these relationship issues start to pop up with the Chiron North Node and the South Node in Libra. And the moon is triggering that today. Big time. And we felt that yesterday with the moon square Venus and Venus dispositing the moon and the South Node. So we want to really, we want to let it play out and accept it for what it is and make decisions in the moment and trust the moment and trust our instincts as much as we possibly can, and make the right decisions and do the right things and have positive, helpful conversations and not arguments with Mercury, Mars conjunct still in Capricorn. And, it's like it can get down. Like if things do get intense and aggressive, like it's really just about control and not being willing to let go. Because Capricorn like has two sides to it. It's like Capricorn loves to just be in control of things, be in control of the situation, right? But at the same time, Capricorn also rules our destiny and our fate. So you have to let fate and destiny take over, and sometimes you have to let go of that control. And really, when we get to Aquarius, that's when we do finally let go of the control of Capricorn. So fate and destiny can take over. So this is also the struggle in our relationships. We want to let fate and destiny take over and let go of the Capricorn control. We're on the other end of things. We're on the other side of that, almost. So, we still got a little bit of that to deal with Venus, Mars, and Mercury. And definitely when Pluto comes back into Capricorn, it's like, but, this is us realizing that, wow, we've tried to have control for so long, and it helps us get to a certain place, but now's the time where we have to trust the divine and trust our destiny and trust our purpose. And only us as individuals know that, or what that is for ourselves, right? So, yeah, we want to really embrace that as much as we possibly can and embrace the unknown, embrace what we can't control, and let destiny take over. That's what Capricorn does best, you know. But I think Capricorn has an issue, a trust issue at first of being able to get to that place. So, yeah, trust issues definitely coming up big time with Moon opposing Chiron today. And the Moon crossing the South Node and making these squares, like, it's like, where can we trust? It definitely, when the Moon comes into Scorpio, conjuncts the Moon, or squares the Moon in Aquarius, like, trust issues are going to be coming up big time, and in so many ways. But it's also allowing for a big transformation here, and when we go through these squares, like, it puts the pressure on to really figure it out and get to the bottom. Squares are good, people, in readings and stuff, they're like, oh, squares bad. Like, it's like, no, like, the squares create success. You don't see the most successful people in the world with a bunch of just trines in their chart where it's just like, oh, smooth, right? The most successful people in the world have a lot of squares in their chart, or can have potent squares that really put the pressure on and kind of force a situation where you have to find a solution. And with the Moon quincunxing Uranus today, it is about finding solutions very quickly, and they might pop up very fast. And the situations in our relationships that we are facing are going to pop up really quickly today. And we can also work through them as fast as we possibly can too, And I pulled the Tower card. I pulled this before I started. So, enough said, right? I mean, this is a moment where what used to be will no longer be. And we know that with Pluto and Aquarius anyway, and this Moon in Libra is kind of triggering a Tower moment of massive change and massive shift. And the Moon coming into Scorpio, it's like we can kind of see the next few days as like, this is a Tower moment in our lives where, we got to start from new within our relationships and start fresh. We have to be willing to do so and not be so stubborn and controlling in the Capricorn side of things here with the Moon squaring Mars and Mercury. It's like we want to be able to let go, and let the Tower fall, because the quicker you can let it fall is the quicker you can, build something new or get to the bottom, of what the issues are and find the right path. So, it's like Tower moments and squares in your chart. These are what push us and force us to get to a better place and get to a more successful place in life, And it comes down to breaking the patterns, breaking the habits. It's like I everything that I'm saying, I'm all relating to in my own personal life too. So, it's like, where can we really start to embrace what we can't control? That's what today is all about. There are a lot of things that we just can't control, and it could be painful, but it can also be very healing with the Moon opposing Chiron. So today, like, whatever seems to be painful, if painful things do come up today, those are probably the things where healing can really begin, because that's what we're moving into over the next few weeks. Chiron conjunct the North Node. It's like there is a new healing taking place. There is a new wave of healing taking place. And we can feel that coming, but it doesn't come short of one of these moments here. So we want to embrace it. And we want to make the diplomatic decisions and not get caught in the heat, or be stubborn. So when the Moon comes into Sag, things will lighten up and we'll start to experience a new sense of freedom here. Especially it'll make nice sextiles to Pluto and the Sun. So there is a new liberation that is going to follow this challenge that we're going to have the next few days. So we just want to ride through each moment and be present and accept the waves as they come. So Have a wonderful Wednesday, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.